You don't struggle with fitness because you're lazy. You struggle with fitness because your life is full. You start strong, but between work, responsibilities, and exhaustion, your consistency always seems to fall apart. And then comes the guilt, the frustration, and that little voice inside of your head that keeps telling you that you just don't have the discipline. In this video, you're gonna learn how to stay consistent without needing more time, more motivation, or the perfect schedule. You'll understand what's actually holding you back and how to fix it for good. My name is Mr. Unstoppable. I am a women's transformation specialist who helps women lose weight, build confidence, and reclaim their identity through fitness, mindset, and self-prioritization. And I'm going to help you understand why you keep stopping and starting over, and what you can do about it to fix it for good. So first, let's talk about consistency and why it is not about motivation. It's never about motivation. It's about creating a new standard that you follow even on the days that you don't feel like it. Now, in my line of work, and I've been doing this for quite some time, motivation is the major thing that I hear women say that is why they can't stay on task and stay on course when it comes to their goals. So let's dispel this myth before we move any further. Motivation is not how people stay consistent. It is not how you're going to stay consistent. From your previous experience, you can already tell that motivation is not the key to being successful when it comes to reaching your goal. Because as soon as the motivation fades for you, so does the action that is tied to it. Motivation is just that nice, sweet feeling that you get when you first embark on that journey to lose those next 10 pounds or anything in life in general. Because at the beginning, you have to have some feeling or some driving force to get you started. And there's nothing wrong with having motivation at the beginning to get you started. But that's not what's going to keep you consistent. Setting a new standard for yourself is what's going to keep you consistent. When I first started on my personal journey about 14 years ago to lose 50 pounds and overcome alcoholism, the thing that didn't keep me going was motivation. Yes, I was motivated at the time after finally looking at the scale and seeing the fact that I weighed 50 pounds overweight. But the thing that kept me going was at that specific time, I created a new standard for myself. When I decided that this was no longer acceptable, that was when I was able to continue my journey forward. Yes, I had motivation at the beginning, but that's just what gets you started to build that momentum. Now, during this time, you have to learn what consistency actually means. It doesn't mean that you can never skip a workout. It doesn't mean that you can never make bad decisions with your food or things of that nature. It just means that you are declaring that you are not going to give up, that you are going to become an unstoppable being. And in order for you to stay consistent with anything, you have to be unstoppable. Let's get rid of the motivation talk. Because if you really want to build consistency, motivation is not your friend, because it's here today and then it's gone tomorrow. And then what are you left to do when you still have a goal that you're trying to accomplish, but you aren't motivated to do it? That's where building that consistency comes into play. And I'm going to teach you how to do that. And this is probably why you're watching this video now, because you want to learn how to be consistent. And you really want to understand why every time you start, you end up starting over. No matter how motivated you feel at the beginning, you always seem to fall off and fall short. And every time you start over, you have to deal with the fact that you've given up. But we're going to change that today. Another thing that we need to debunk is the fact that you don't need more time. You need a system and a structure that fits your life, your real life, not your ideal life. Not having time is something that I hear a lot, and something that I've always heard, and something that I'm always going to continue to keep hearing. Anytime you use this alibi, which is what it is, you're basically telling yourself that your goals are outside of your control, which means you aren't holding yourself accountable to the fact that you create your schedule. Everybody has the same 24 hours a day. Yes, maybe you work more than the average person. Yes, you might have more obligations than the average person does too as well. But that doesn't mean that you don't have the time to take care of yourself. Because at the end of the day, it just comes down to self-prioritization. Are you prioritizing yourself or not? When you tell yourself or you tell anyone else that you don't have time to exercise or to make healthy decisions with your meals or whatever it is, you're basically saying that you are not a priority. So it's not about how much time you have. It's about how you use the time that you do have. And if you become a priority, like you prioritize everything else that is inside of your schedule, then you will notice that you do have time. Think about the things that you spend time on that don't actually serve you. Time that you spend binge watching your favorite shows, or doing things for friends or family that you actually don't want to do. Time that you could be using instead for yourself. But maybe the real issue here is that you don't see yourself as a priority. So you really just have to ask yourself, how important is it to you? And if it is something that is very important to you, then start scheduling it just like you do with everything else in your life. I'll tell you a secret. You do matter. and you should prioritize yourself. Because when you begin to do that, everything around you gets better. Your relationships with other people get better. The way you show up every single day gets better. The way you feel gets better. You feel more confident. You have more energy, less stressed, less depressed. I mean, I can't find a reason why you wouldn't want to self-prioritize yourself. But again, I'm a little bit biased because I've seen it so many times. But when you really think about it, it doesn't really make sense for you not to. So even if it's something small, schedule something for yourself this week where you prioritize yourself. Doesn't matter if you go on a 10-minute walk, or maybe go to see a masseuse and get a nice massage, or you can just reserve some time to take a nice hot bubble bath. The point of it is to schedule that time specifically for you and something that you want to do. So that way you can start prioritizing yourself the way that you should. The next thing I want to cover is the all or nothing mentality, because this is what keeps breaking your momentum, not your lack of effort. When you try something new and you set the bar really, really, really high, if you fail just a little bit or you miss just a little bit, you're gonna feel so much harder because the crash from here to here is gonna be so much harder. For instance, if you haven't worked out in quite some time, or if you're just starting a new workout journey, if you go from working out 0 days to a 5-day workout program, it's gonna be very hard for you. You probably will make it that first day. Between the second and third day, you probably end up missing one. And then by the end of the week, if you do 2 out of 5 workouts, you're gonna feel really bad about yourself. But if you start with saying, I'm gonna work out 2 times this week, and you hit both of those 2 workouts, it might not seem like a lot, but if you miss one, at least you did 50% of what you said you would do. And then if you still have time during the week, you can make that up at the end of the week. So it's a lot easier to redeem yourself rather than trying to work out 5 times per week, starting from 0. This is why it's always good when you're starting something new to start small, because it's easier to do. And then that way you start building up the momentum with having those quick wins. So if you plan on starting a new workout regimen, start with maybe 1 to 2 days at first, and make sure you schedule it. Because again, we have to have structure and systems that we can stick to that align with your actual real life. Because it's about fitting fitness into the life that you already have, not having it take over it. And that's pretty easy to do. So if you want to stop starting over, delete the all or nothing mentality. If you like the video so far, hit the like button. If you're tired of stopping and starting over and you would like some support, feel free to join my amazing community called the Unstoppable Academy. The link will be in the description. I'll see you there. Now let's talk about discipline. Discipline is actually built through the small daily promises that you keep to yourself, not big bursts of intensity. You probably think that discipline comes from accomplishing some amazing feats, but it's actually the complete opposite. Discipline is built one small win at a time, because when you keep these promises to yourself and you follow through on the things that you said you're going to do, you're also building a strong identity of somebody who follows through. Discipline is just like a muscle. The more that you exercise it, the bigger it gets. The less that you use it, the smaller it gets. So start thinking about small ways that you can get your discipline reps in. For instance, if you tell yourself that you're not gonna eat any junk food until Friday, every day is 1 discipline rep. So if you start on a Monday, by the time that you get to Friday, that's 4 reps of discipline that you've already accomplished. And the cool thing about this is you can also stack them, which is a great way to build even more discipline in a shorter amount of time. But here's the catch-22. Whenever you say that you're going to do something, you have to follow through. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to be perfect, because nobody's perfect. But the thing about it is you want to make sure that you're doing the thing more than not doing the thing. Just like with these discipline reps, you don't have to work out every single day or all the time, but you want to make sure that you're doing the majority of the work with your discipline. You can even take an 80-20 principle. Shoot for following through on 80% of the things that you say that you're going to do, and use the other 20% as a buffer for forgiveness. And what this will do is to teach you to follow through on a large percentage of the things that you do. But when you fall off on those small percents, you won't beat yourself up about it, because you already factored in the 20%. Because again, you have to grant yourself some grace when you do mess up, because we all do it, but making sure that you're staying on track most of the time. And this is how you build more consistency. Last but not least, let's talk about identity. Your identity is what actually drives your actions. And the more that you can start seeing yourself as consistent, your behavior is going to follow suit. I'll tell you a secret. Your mind works in a very unique way. When it comes to identity, your mind looks for things that are in alignment with the identity that's already inside of your head. This is why making changes can be difficult. For anything that your brain doesn't recognize as common, it's going to have friction, which means it's going to fight it. And that resistance is what makes it so hard for people to change. Think about the route that you take home every single day. If Google Maps was to suggest that you take a different route, you probably wouldn't do it. This is the route that you've been doing the entire time, and why would you change it? Your brain would be battling with that because it's not what you normally do. And your identity works the same way. If you're the type of person who sets goals for themselves, but you don't typically follow through, it is going to be a lot harder for you to make the transformation than somebody who does. Because again, you've created an identity of the person who doesn't follow through. The woman who makes promises to herself, but continuously breaks them. So unfortunately, when you start following through on the things that you say you're going to do, there is going to be some resistance. The good thing about that is it doesn't last forever. And no matter what type of identity that you have, you can always change it. And that's the beautiful thing about human beings. Your past does not dictate your future. So when it comes to identity, start thinking about the type of woman that you want to become. And right now, I want you to do a small exercise with me. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to take a deep breath. Inhale. Hold it for a couple seconds. And exhale. Now, I want you to think about the type of woman that you want to be. What does she talk like? How does she walk? How does she carry herself? How does this version of you feel? While keeping your eyes closed, I want you to really think about that. How would you feel stepping into this new version of yourself? How much more confident would you feel? How much happier would you be? How would everyone around you receive this new identity, this new refined version of yourself? Now, I want you to hold on to this feeling. And if you are in a point of your life where you want to create some change, I want you to often refer back to this person, this new amazing version of yourself, the version of you that's waiting for you, the version of you that you can become if you choose to stop starting over. Because this version of you already exists. You merely just have to align with her. The question is, will you make those changes in order for you to do so? Okay, open your eyes. I want to leave you with this final thought. There is an identity that has been created based on everything that you've been through in your entire life. All the decisions that you've ever made, all of the thoughts that you've ever thought. The sum of all of that is the person that you are currently at this moment. Changing that is something that you want to do. You have the power within you to do so. But first, you must become her up here in your mind. That's where the change truly happens. Not on the outside, but on the inside. And once you master your mind and your habits, you will become her. And if you would like to be a part of an environment that would be helpful for you, you can join my amazing community of women just like you. It's called the Unstoppable Academy, and the link will be in the description. I hope this video has served you well, and may peace and blessings be upon you. And as always, stay unstoppable. Peace.